New statistics show signs that the Great Resignation could soon be over. Figures from the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment show that the number of people quitting their jobs is down from historic highs. Labor experts say resignations grew following the pandemic, but that job market volatility is starting to settle down.
So joining us now to talk about it, the statistics, what they mean to our economy, Chris Rourke, of course, the managing editor of the Denver Business Journal. So what are these numbers? I mean, because it's not just employment, unemployment. We're diving into these a little deeper, aren't we?
Yeah, we're talking about quits. And what quits are is a measurement of, the Bureau of Labor Statistics talks about separations. Quits are people voluntarily leaving their job, just like the word implies. It's not necessarily retirement. It's simply people who are leaving a job, whether they're leaving the workforce or whether they're, going to another job. Most often, it's people who are going to another job. What we've seen is that following the pandemic last spring, the quit rate for Colorado was 3.5%, and that was an extraordinarily high number. Numbers coming out this spring show that it's down to about 2.6%, and that's fairly typical. That's pre-pandemic levels. In fact, we have a chart here now. You can see that historically there are two lulls there that, about 2.5%. The quit rate during the Great Recession of 2008, 2009, coming out, and even until 2013, people stayed in their jobs. The quit rate went down to 1.5%. And then we had this phenomenon, following the pandemic.
So it's a great recession, a great resignation, and sometimes it's not so great.
Yeah, no.
But what we're not getting out of numbers is the vibe. Like, I get the feeling a lot of the hybrid job models that started, or people working from home, when people said they want you to come back into work, that seemed to trigger a lot of people about, I really enjoyed working from home. I think I could do it from here. Can you get a vibe out of these numbers?
I think there is a case to be made for that. The other thing that we saw was people decided, I'm not really happy working and doing what I'm doing. There was great unrest that came out of the pandemic. People wanted more money. They wanted greater advancement. I looked at Pew Research that showed those were the top two reasons why people left their jobs. Now we have a situation where we're coming down to what is normal, right? Not only that,
and getting back to normal.
Yeah, and we have some economic uncertainty right now. Are we going into a recession? Do I want to give up my job right now and say jump to another job where I don't have seniority? And what happens if there are layoffs? So we see people starting to settle down.
So now people are like, you think of the number of pilots that took early retirement, and people that said, you know what, this job is good, but I'm tired of being treated like dirt.
The Excel bill comes every month.
And then all of a sudden, I got a mortgage. So is that why? Then they finally, is this good news or bad news in general?
I'm glad you asked that, because it's not good or bad. It's just indicating human behavior. Now, for employers, it's better if people aren't quitting. That's good for the employers. Think about the money it costs to recruit and train and then maintain.
On board and all those trendy words.
Right. But from a national level, unemployment's now at real low numbers. Are we in a good employment economy for employers or employees, or is it for everyone?
Well, I talked to the Colorado Department of Labor and Employment, and the economist there says, quits are an indication, they're a good indication of the economy. What it means is people feel confident to leave their job, move on to another job, and feel good about, what they've done. When we saw the numbers on the chart, when we go into a recession, you're going to see that quit rate go.
They hang on to the jobs.
Right.
Yeah, let's not move around. Let's feel stable. Maybe the coworker that keeps leaving his coffee cup in the kitchen sink is not so annoying as you once might have.
You can deal.
Could be a whole new roaring 20s, the 2020s.
We do have a job report coming out tomorrow.
So that
initial numbers I saw that nationally that quit rate bumped up a little bit, but in the West, I haven't been able to drill down Colorado numbers yet, but in the West, it was fairly flat, so people are staying put.
Oh, look for that. Chris Rourke, thanks as always for joining us from the managing editor of the Denver Business Journal.
Thanks.
Thank you.